welcome to my channel. I'm Kay. I'm testing all the online things. That's Etsy, digital products, Pinterest, blogging, you name it. I'll share the real numbers, what works, what flops, and the lessons in between, so you don't have to figure it all by yourself. If you're building your own online income, hit subscribe and let's learn together. So I opened my Etsy shop 30 days ago. In the first month, I got 1,200 views, 47 favorites, and 6 orders. It's not I quit my job money, but it's enough data to see what actually works, what doesn't, and what I would change if I had to start again tomorrow. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my real numbers from day 1 to day 30, how I got these views without adding ads, without using ads, what drove traffic, and what mistakes that have slowed me down. A quick note before we dive in, I'm keeping my actual Etsy shop name and listings private just to separate my personal life from my channel. But the numbers, the time frame, and the lessons are all real. So if you're you're thinking about opening an Etsy shop, or you've just opened one and you're refreshing your stats every 5 minutes like me, this video will give you a realistic picture of what those first 30 days will look like. Here's what I'll cover. I'll talk about my shop setup and the niche so the numbers make sense, week by week analytics, views, favorites, and orders, where the traffic came from, the mistakes I've made from month 1 or in month 1, and the simple plan I'm following for month 2. All right, let's start with the shop itself. To understand the results, you need to know what I'm selling. My shop focuses on digital products, things like printable planners, Canva templates, wallet, and digital downloads for t-shirt designs and such. When I opened my shop, I started with only 10 listings. By the end of the month, I had 12. This is not a huge catalog yet. My prices were in the $4 to $12 range. I try to keep them in that sweet spot where it feels affordable, but not so cheap that the product looks low quality. And this is important. I did not run Etsy ads in the first 30 days. I relied on Etsy search, a bit of browsing traffic from people already on the app, a small push from outside platforms like Pinterest, so the numbers you're about to see are purely organic, no ad spend. Here's the big picture for my first month on Etsy. 1,200 views, 47 favorites, 6 orders, and a conversion rate of 0.5%. Again, nothing crazy, but it's a realistic starting point for a brand new shop with around a dozen digital listings and no ads. Now, let me show you how that played out week by week, because the pattern is more useful than the totals. I'll give you a week by week breakdown, and let's start with week 1. I had about 210 views, 9 favorites, and 1 order. Most of these came from Etsy search plus that little new shop boost Etsy gives you in the beginning. I also shared my shop once on social media, but I didn't have a strategy yet. Honestly, I was just excited to see any views. Week 2, I had around 280 views, 12 favorites, and 2 orders. In week 2, I started to tweak things. I looked at my listings and thought, would I actually click on this? So I decided to rewrite a few titles using better keywords, cleaned up some of the thumbnails so that the text was bigger and easier to read. I added 2 new listings, so now I had 12 products instead of 10. Those small changes gave me a little bump. Week 3. I had around 340 views, 14 favorites, and 1 order. This week I finally started taking Etsy advice seriously and started sending traffic from outside the platform. What did this look like for me? It's creating a few simple pins on Pinterest, linking to my listings, sharing a quick post or story about my shop. The numbers didn't quite explode, but I started seeing a few visits coming from Pinterest and from direct links in my stats, which was quite encouraging. Now let's go to week 4. I had around 370 views, 12 favorites, and 2 orders. By week 4, a couple of products started to stand out. 2 of my listings were responsible for most of the views and favorites. That told me something really important. Not every listing will be a winner, but you don't need all of them to be. You just need a few that consistently bring people to your shop. So that's how I ended up with 1,200 views, 47 favorites, and 6 orders in 30 days. Now let's talk about where those views came from. When I look at traffic sources, this is what my first 30 days roughly break down to. About 65% came from Etsy search, 20% came from the Etsy app and browsing, roughly 10% came from Pinterest, and the rest came from direct links. So the big driver by far was Etsy search. That's why your keywords and thumbnails matter so much. Here's what helped me there. Number one, long tail keywords. Instead of just saying planner or wall art, I use phrases like minimalist with planner printable or neutral line art gallery wall set. Fewer people will search for those exact phrases, but when they do, my listings has a much better chance of showing up. Number two, front loading my main keyword. I tried to make sure that the main thing someone would type into the search bar was at the very beginning of my title and included again in my tags. Number three, thumbnail that actually can be read on the phone. My earlier thumbnails were cute, but they were hard to read. When I made them the text bolder, simplified the layout, and left more breathing room, my click-through rate went up. On the external side, Pinterest surprised me. Even with a few simple pins, the traffic coming from Pinterest seems more serious. Those visitors were more likely to favorite or buy compared to random browse traffic. And now, the fun part, what I did wrong. The first mistake was not having enough listings. Starting with 10 to 12 products is fine, but I underestimated how much Etsy seems to reward shops that have more to offer. If I could start over, I'd aim to get 20 or even 30 listings as quickly as I could without sacrificing quality. Even if they're variations of the same idea, different colors, different bundles, it gives Etsy more chances to show you in search. Second mistake was my thumbnails. Visually, they were pretty, but as a thumbnail, they were very weak. The fonts were too small, there were too many elements, and nothing stood out at first glance. When I simplified everything using bigger fonts and made one key phrase the star, I noticed better engagement. So if your thumbnails look like mini posters, try turning them into bold little billboards instead. Mistake number three, I waited too long to build around the listings that were already performing best. By the end of the month, I could clearly see which products were getting the most views and favorites. What I should have done earlier is, number one, turn the product into a bundle or create matching items or add-ons or make a premium version at a slightly higher price. Instead, I just watched those stats and didn't act on them quickly enough. For month two, my rule is, if something is getting steady views and favorites, it earns more versions and more visibility. My last big mistake was being inconsistent with promotion outside Etsy. I'd post a pin here, then disappear, post a story 1 week, then not the next. For month two, I'm treating Etsy as the shop and platforms like Pinterest, Instagram, and TikTok as my marketing. My new rule, every new product gets at least 3 to 5 pieces of content pointing back to it, whether that's pins, short videos, or simple posts. So here's the simple plan I'm going to follow into month two. Increase listings is the first one. Aim for 5 to 10 more products, focusing on what gets clicks. Number two, double down on winners. Bundles, matching sets, premium versions. Number three, clean up every thumbnail. Make sure they're bold, readable, and on brand. Number four, consistent external traffic. Treat Pinterest and short form videos as non-negotiable, not an extra. Nothing here is flashy, but it's sustainable and it builds on what I learned in the first 30 days. So, did I fail in my first 30 days on Etsy? No. I also didn't go viral. What I did get was 1,200 views, 47 favorites, and 6 real orders, plus a clear idea on what to fix and where to focus. So if you're just starting out, here are 4 things that I would keep in mind. Number one, pick one clear niche instead of trying to sell everything. Aim for 10 to 20 solid listings as soon as you can. Treat your titles, tags, and thumbnails like your shop window. And lastly, choose one off Etsy platform to send traffic from consistently. If this breakdown was helpful and you want to see what happens in month 2, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you are in your Etsy journey. And if you're still planning, just open or already selling, let me know. Thank you for watching. Good luck with your first 30 days on Etsy and see you on the next video.